the lives of a new breed of American ambassador. Those who have chosen to make their homes abroad, give back to the land and its people, while pursuing their life-defining passion. These are the American Castaways, Costa Rica.
We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive at the beginning and to know it again for the first time.
I love my dad very, very much. He's friendly, and he likes to be with me playing.
Danny responds in a very natural way, obviously. I mean, in addition to being young, he seems to have a natural inclination to nature.
I'm busy.
Oftentimes throughout the week, he'll scream out, "Poppy, Poppy, Poppy, there's a new bird on the feeder." And then he'll insist that I must come and see it no matter what I'm doing. I'll run over there and see the bird, and then while I'm looking at the bird, he's running to get the bird book to find it in the book so that we can read about it and know more about it and whatever. When I saw him yesterday jumping out of that tree, I had never seen him do that before. I thought to myself, man, when I was a little kid, I was not that daring. I would have been scared shit to go out onto that limb and dive into the water. We don't try to protect them or overprotect them. Sure, there are certain things you have to watch out for, but if you're always warning him, you're going to fall down, well, sure enough, he's going to do it, you know? So we don't do that. Sometimes I do if I'm more uneasy about what he's doing.
You put it in the sun for one day and a night. You're going to wait, and this is going to be like rubber, you see? Rubber plant is called.
My name is Richard Witten. I'm here in the Sarapiquí area of Costa Rica. I've been here with my wife for nearly 10 years. I used to be a biologist with Carolina Biological Labs in the United States, and I was in charge of growing all the protozoa, bacteria, algae, and fruit flies, and giving lectures and workshops for science teachers all over the United States and Canada. Many other species of butterflies. When you have two species of butterflies that taste differently, and one gains protection by imitating the one that tastes bad, that's called Batesian mimicry. Sometimes you have two or more butterflies that taste bad, and when all three butterflies that taste bad imitate each other to enforce the situation, that's called Mullerian mimicry. And you have mimicry rings in the tropics where you have butterflies, moths, beetles, bugs, all looking the same, all having the same warning colors, and all protected because they look like they're nasty to birds.
I married the bug man of Oregon.
These are the elephant beetles of Costa Rica. You can see they're really big.
I thought I married a fellow who sang opera, and I sang operetta, and music was our common denominator, along with interest in nature.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. Oh, something, he don't say nothing. That old man river, he just keeps rolling along.
everybody in one way or another has been influenced by Picasso. I deal in symbolism. I'm Bill Mamaya. I was born in California. I discovered Mexico very early and started actually getting involved more in the South and in the tropics. And I ended up in Costa Rica. This is Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Once I saw the feathered serpent, I could only see it in silhouette, but it looked like Quetzalcoatl for sure. By having half a dozen, maybe a dozen projects going, when I run out of gas on one, I can just revert to another. Sometimes I'll wake up at around 3 a.m. And start working because there won't be any insects at that time. In many of my paintings, I paint people in hammocks in them, except I never keep a hammock hanging in my studio because I would never get anything done.
It takes a long time to train a bird, and you have to be very consistent about it. Hola! Well, that doesn't count. You have to say hola. My name is Margot Friesius, and I was born in Germany, in Stuttgart. And I was born in 1922, which makes me 79. We have a toucan, and his name is Picasso. Because if Picasso had been asked to design a bird, it would have looked like something like this. Absolutely ridiculous. What good is that beak possibly for? He's got the funniest tongue in the whole world. It's just like a little piece of plastic. He has to eat by picking up his food and then throwing it down his throat.
This little bird's mother and father are here in the corner of the patio. No. Hey. Bird, put down there. And as you see, it's very, very dangerous. It's biting me all the time.
Richard was very lucky. He loves airplanes. And then I think he switched his allegiance from these big metal birds that fly to the big macaws that fly. And he's a very routine person, so he does all his chores every day.
My day starts about 5:15 in the morning. Come on, kids. And I get up and I go around to the birds and check the birds out to make sure that nothing went wrong in the night. Here's the sunflower seed.
At the age of 18, I moved to New York City to study art and design at the Pratt Institute. Professionally, I was an art director, graphic designer for approximately 25 years. When I was about 47 years old, I moved seriously down to Costa Rica and stay here to live. The island has its name Heliconia Island because there are approximately 70 or 80 different heliconias. I can't say exactly different species because I have some species where there are variations on the species which are worth having because they're color variations.
This is like worms eat the chlorophyll. Is the color of this leaf and you can try. And they eat it little by little, and then they pass to another one. You see?
So the group that's coming here today is one of those groups who, as I understand it, they have never been to this area, and they'll hopefully be interested in bringing tours for this next coming season to Heliconia Island. The midge fly lays its eggs into these pools of water here, and when those eggs develop into larvae and the midge fly evolves and flies out, the midge fly is an exclusive pollinator of the cacao flower. So if we didn't have heliconias, we couldn't have the midge fly laying its eggs in there, which would be later pollinating the chocolate plant, and we wouldn't have chocolate.
There's chocolate. Here's one. You see?
They should have been here at 1 o'clock. It's now 10 minutes to 3. So I don't know.
If you come along with me, I'll take you in and show you some of the kinds of exhibits here. Bear in mind that this is, what you're going to see here is maybe 1/6 of a collection of over 1 million specimens.
To see a bunch of dead, dried bugs on the wall. I've heard that so many times. And so we decide to make decorative exhibitions so that it will be appealing to the public. And that is the reasons why we have these domed displays and decorative displays with information.
A problem that exists is we're having global warming. And so mosquitoes and fleas and flies are reproducing at ever greater numbers and will be moving farther north and farther south, so that in the mid parts of the United States and more southern parts of South America, there will be malaria and yellow fever in places that it's never existed before. More people have died on Earth historically from malaria than from all wars and any other form of death. Now, what's interesting about preserving rainforest and malaria, quinine is the chemical used to treat malaria very effectively. It comes from the bark of a kind of red tree that lives in South America, which is being cut down all the time.
I do indigenous peoples, and this is one of the things I'm finishing up right now. And also there's a private residence here where I just finished a large painting for them. For artists starting out, what I would recommend is finding a subject matter that excites you, and stay with that in the beginning, and that'll get you moving forward. To leave a little bit of the mystery that will actually affect a person for maybe 1 second, and if I get that, then I've accomplished what I went out after. But I've experienced it in other people's work, so I know it can be done. But whether I do it or not, time will tell.
Hi.
He's the bird man. I fell in love with him for all the wrong reasons. I was an immigrant's daughter, though I was very Americanized, but still he was an old American family, and he'd lived in Hollywood. He actually knew movie stars. I think, he actually went out in groups with Lauren Bacall and people like that, and that was just so glamorous, But he's one of the nicest, kindest people I've ever met.
We call this area our Bamboo Cathedral, and it has mostly green striped bamboo. Green striped bamboo has been on the bamboo books for more than 500 years as a registered kind of bamboo. But they think that it is a mutation from a solid green bamboo. We came down here one morning and went into the swimming pool with nothing on at all, and we were enjoying ourselves here. And suddenly, some people came walking down the road. One of our employees had a friend that they'd just come, so they brought him down here. Embarrassment.
I've tried most everything. I love crafts. I love to do things with my hand. If I make a dream catcher, if I make a quilt, a miniature quilt or whatever, if I'm or part of it, work on it, that's sort of forever. My dream catchers make your dreams come true. The Indian dream catchers, they put them on their papooses, so when they sleep they don't get a bad dream and wake up screaming. They have all kinds of different little variations, different tribes.
False call.
don't like the looks of this, really. Oftentimes I don't have all the help I need because I can't afford to pay them. But there's just an incredible amount of maintenance to do here, really. You know, I imagined that I would have less hours to have to cut the grass if I planted a lot more flowers. So basically that's what I've done here. I'm planting a lot of flowers, and I've cut back on cutting the grass by at least half. That's the Chamber of Tourism. Whoa, Tim Ryan. I started getting responses from people, friends, and other people who would come by with friends, and they started calling it a Centro Turistico, which is the Costa Rican phrase for a tourist center. And with more encouragement from people, they said, you know, you have something very beautiful here. Why don't you open it up to the public? La isla de Heliconias se llama Isla de las Heliconias porque es una isla realmente. Tiene 2 hectáreas y media del jardín botánico. This was supposed to be a group of 8 to 12 people, so we don't really have quite enough refreshments to offer here.
This is probably the most famous insect in Costa Rica. It's certainly one that young girls, particularly if they're pretty, learn about real quickly when they come for a visit here. The boys tell the girls that if a boy and girl go out in the forest together, and the girl is bitten or stung by this insect, the machaca, and doesn't have sex within 24 hours, she will die.
I'm ready to spread the collection out a little bit, put a little love everywhere, find a way to tell people, make them feel it's a personal thing, but give us a chance to get away from the everyday nitty-gritty of looking after this vast collection.
Some of the tiny little creatures in the rainforest are the most beautiful, complex, and marvelous of anything on Earth. You don't have to go to Mars, Jupiter, Saturn to see really weird stuff. What exists right here on Earth in the rainforest of the tropics is far more bizarre than any monster you'll ever see on Star Trek.
I asked you at some point to look at some of our visitors' books. Why, people have left us poetry. Richard would come to me often when I was down and he'd say, look, read this. See what they say. See what they say, Mark.
I probably swim 200 days a year. I'm 66, except I feel 17. I break after 6 hours of work because my feet are giving out on me. And that recharges my battery for another 6 hours. An hour and 25 minutes swim and walk up these hills will just clears your mind right out. And ocean swimming here is ideal. The water temperature is so nice that you would get seasick before you get cold in this water. This is some of the great swimming that you can find here right below the house. From this bay here, which is called the Rock Beach, this is a low tide shot. You can swim into this beach and walk out. To come around this point would probably be about a 3-hour swim. These are all neat little beaches at low tide that they're all different, that you can go into. There are reefs also with abundance of iridescent fish. You can't beat the fish here. It's great. Here we come, around the bend. So watch your step here. Hiking and walking every day is a great, well, everyone should be walking. Walking is a wonderful thing. Look at this, they're falling all over the place. The monkeys are real happy right now. They've got a lot of good food. You run into the monkeys along here. Whiteface and squirrel monkeys, which are called titis here. So the cara blancas and the titis. We had a rogue white-faced monkey around. I had just set up my little gallery for to begin the season, and most everything was under glass, and there were all prints. And a rogue white-faced male came through and threw all the paintings off the wall and broke all the glass because he could see his reflection in the glass. He actually put me out of business that year. But I love the guy.
This is what we call our baby room. When we have an egg hatched in an incubator, and then the baby comes down here and it goes into this intensive care unit. It has a humidity control and a temperature control. These are two scarlet macaw babies. I guess they're about almost 3 weeks old, about 3 weeks, 18 days old or so.
We've had more than a dozen birds stolen, toucans and macaws.
We had cages here, breeding cages that we put the birds into, and then suddenly we had a couple birds disappear. The cage was broken, the lock was broken, and the bird was gone.
That has been very upsetting that people would do that. We're raising birds in order to release them. I think we have about 175 birds. What we hope to accomplish is get birds back into the rainforest and to prove that we can get them back into the rainforest. A lot of people think it can't be done. There are lots of theories on macaws. There's the parents are supposed to raise them. The parents are supposed to show them what to do. And so people think that they can't make it on their own. And we're going to try to prove that they can make it on their own. And the ones we've released, they've been out there for 2 years. They're doing very, very well. And I hope it works.
Go.
Went very well, I'd say.
I'd say too.
It's a bit overwhelming. I didn't expect 30 people to show up. If each one of this person was paying the $10 entry fee, I'd made a good amount of money today. I hope the bus gets out of there without knocking down my electric line.
If somebody is coming to Costa Rica, I'm invited to come to Heliconi Island.
Never did I think I would make a living from my art. This is my gallery. It was never finished, so they call it the Mamayan Ruins.
Sí, yo he visto esto en Costa Rica cuando hacen las fiestas las fiestas típicas para diciembre, sí.
Oh my God, that's great.
These are the 10 birds ready to go for a release. These have been ready for a year to go. They're getting a bit old now. They should have been younger when they're released, but we haven't been able to get permission. The government, they have a lot of people that say release is no good. They say maybe you'll bring some disease in. Well, these are all local birds, so they're not going to be carrying other diseases in. We say not release, but relocation, and that seems to fit on the tongue a little bit better with people, and they say relocation, well, maybe we can let the relocation go. We want to be remembered as a people that proved that macaws can breed in captivity in Costa Rica, and we want to be remembered that we got birds back into the forest so that future generations can enjoy them.
Margaret, where'd you put the snake?
I couldn't put it anywhere.
I want to find where the head is and pin it down first. so I know it's there. Now I got the head. This is the way to do it, yeah. This is called a parrot snake. And I never seen one before except in pictures. And it just showed up at the breakfast table this morning. I've handled, I guess, thousands of snakes because of being with Carolina Biological. And I'm used to big green snakes in Louisiana that you can just pick up by the armful. I mean, like Medusa. And they never bite, they just all are trying to get away, and you can just keep picking. But this one snake, which looks just like the ones in Louisiana but bigger, turns out has a huge mouth. It can swallow lizards and frogs, it turns out, and has razor sharp teeth. And it bit me, much to my surprise. Even at 60 years old, you can get surprised by a snake. I used to, in fact, give talks for elder hostel tours about what it's like to be a gringo in Central America. You have to have patience. This statement that you often hear, mañana and pura vida, if you're a tourist drinking a mint julep in the hammock, that's great for vacations. But if you're trying to start a business or work out a deal or go to the bank or whatever, it's extremely frustrating.
There are people that end up in these far out places who are searching for self.
I think you have to be at a point where you really are kind of relying on some kind of miracle, and you really are kind of saying, oh, I hope something happens.
Some people make it, some people don't. It's not easy, yeah.
Like most things in Costa Rica, it takes a long time for things to happen. If you have a dream, it is very important that you do go for it. Dream it. See it.
I think Costa Rica has a great example on one of their signs entering into national parks that says, nature is a part of your life. It may seem really odd and sad that we have to say that to people for them to think about it, but that's what we've come to. Nature is part of your life, or you are part of nature.
It's not a car society, so you have two or three extra hours to read a day. And basically everybody around here is well read.
The people here are very nice. They like Americans, which is unusual. A lot of the countries, they pretend they like Americans, but they don't.
The Latin cultures are very, very smooth. I enjoy that over the States. Costa Rican people are very polite. They're very laid back, couldn't be more friendly when someone answers you, pura vida. Pura vida is pure life, and it's a real positive thing. That's really Tico terminology for the good life.
The final thing I would say is, come to Costa Rica and expect the unexpected. You cannot imagine. You have no possible way to imagine what you're going to find here in the rainforest.
Oh, wow.
Pura vida.